You have a friend, right? You have a friend you took a training with. You feel they can benefit from a session like this because they're still struggling to land a job. You might want to share the link to this session with them. I mean, what's better than being the only person in a squad to actually excel and progress, right? It's having more and more people in that squad doing amazingly well. So if you have anybody, probably a colleague that you know will benefit from this, a colleague who has taken a course in tech and is still struggling to land a job, or probably friends you made while taking a course, during your transitioning phase into tech. Okay. During your transitioning, okay, during your transitioning into tech, you might also want to share the link to this session with them to be a pleasure to have more people that we are able to help transition into tech. But now let's get straight into the conversation of the day, right? But before we dive deeply into it, I'd love to get to know us. But I am sure, okay, let's start like this. Just introduce yourself. Where are you joining from? You don't need to type your name, just type where you're joining from and the tech field you're trying to get a job in. So I can write something like Omomi Birmingham project management. So you're joining from Birmingham and you're trying to get a job in project management, right? So that's what I'd like to see in the chat. Where are you joining from and what career path are you trying to get a job in? So I have my eyes glued to the screen and I am checking for messages. So please keep it coming and confirm that you can hear me clearly, by the way, by giving me a thumbs up. Can anyone hear me clearly? Awesome, thank you. Okay, is joining from London and he's trying to get a job in data analysis. Thank you, Abigail. Okay, so keep it coming, guys. I would like to know, Peterborough, that's Abigail is joining from there and she would like to get a job as a data scientist. Awesome. Can we have more people? Can we have more people? While we are keeping that coming, right? For those that are just joining us, we are actually just kickstarting the session. So you've not really missed anything. And trust me, this session is going to be a time well spent. It's not going to be a waste of your time in any way. So we're still doing intros. So just type where you're joining from and the tech career path that you will love to gain or land a job in. So I have more people now. Henry, data engineer linking. Jennifer, Manchester, data analytics. Abasi, Birmingham, data analytics. Hillary, Cardiff, and trying to get into data science. Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Olabimpe, data analytics. Amazing. It's so nice to meet everyone. And like I said, if you have friends that you feel can benefit from this session, please do well to share the link with them. If there are people you took a course alongside and you feel that, oh, we've been looking for an opportunity like this, let me share with them. Do well to also share with them. So we are familiar with the topic of the day. But before we get right in, let's start on a very easy and lighter note. For everyone still introducing themselves, I see you. Please keep it coming. Thank you, Olabisi. Thank you, Paul, joining from London. Thank you, Dorcas, from York, data science. Amazing. Thank you, everybody. So now we're very, very familiar with something, and that is the struggle with landing a job. But there's something I always like to say. You're trying to get a job. Quite all right, right? But then again, it is very important for you to always know exactly what the recruiters want. You're trying to get a job, the recruiters have their expectation. So do not go in blindsided, right? Understand things from both ends. From your end, what you're bringing to the table, and from the recruiter's end, what they expect you to bring to the table as it relates to that job that they're about to hire for. Remember, every company has its unique challenge. Every company has its unique problem. So if that is the case, you need to make sure that every interview you're prepping for, every job application you're prepping for, you are well aware of what that company does, what the industry is, so that your application of the knowledge you're bringing to the table is well tailored to that. And when you're trying to sell yourself, you are also aware of the expectation, right? So we are all familiar with this instance. You try to apply, not apply in this case. You're trying to watch a movie on Netflix, right? You're trying to watch a movie on Netflix. You're not just going to pick any movie. You're still going to scroll through all of the lists that they have on the platform. The trailer is going to convince you. Your interview is that trailer, right? The trailer is going to convince you whether or not to watch the movie. Who agrees with that? Before you watch a movie, you want to even have a glimpse into what to expect. You don't just want to waste the next 1 hour, 30 minutes. Who does that? Right? Can you give me a thumbs up? Before you watch any movie, whether on Netflix, whether on Prime Video, you want to watch the trailer first. Have a glimpse into what to expect. And then that is the thing that convinces you to say, okay, yeah, it's my kind of movie, right? And in other cases, if it's not that, it's either somebody is recommending that movie for you, right? And you would only go ahead to watch the movie if your taste with that person is the same. So it's very similar to job search. Recruiters want to have a glimpse into who you are and what you're bringing to the table. And if you're able to convince them in like 30 seconds, it might be you losing them, but you don't want to lose them. So one thing I love to say is I love to summarize exactly what recruiters want. Recruiters just want to see habits, they want to see behavior, and they want to see potential. When you're applying for a job, you need to communicate certain things from the get-go. How are you communicating the potential that you're bringing to the table? And how are you communicating the behavioral aspect of your skills as well as the habits, right? These are things that helps you keep the job. So let's get started, and I'm going to share my screen real quick. And of course, I know I've not introduced myself, but I know you can see my name on the screen, but we will get into who I am and how I can help you navigate the job market smarter, right? Strategically. All right. So thank you for to everyone that has introduced themselves so far. It's amazing and it's so nice to meet you. And this session is not going to be restricted time. I love to say that because I know today's Saturday, you could have been unwinding rather. You could have been unwinding and chilling and having fun. But you said, I need this and I have to be here. So you're here and it's amazing to have you here. So what do UK recruiters really want? Or we can even broaden it. What do recruiters really want, right? Whether you're a recruiter in the UK or whether you're a recruiter outside of the UK, what exactly do they want? Now, everyone has introduced themselves so far. And one thing I asked us is, what career path in tech are you struggling to get a job in? Or are you trying to get a job in? Or would you like to get a job in? And we've listed quite a number of them. Now, we all understand the place of taking a course in tech. That's one step into the entire, process of getting a job in tech. But most times we're not prepared. Nobody prepares you for what happens after you've taken the course. I was once in that position. I took a course. I thought that was all I needed to land a job. But by the time I go on LinkedIn, I would see someone build a platform, perform something in my domain, right, that I can't do yet. And one thing that led me into doing was to start self-analyzing. Can I do this? No, was the answer. If I find myself in the job market applying to the same job as this person, will the recruiter pick me over this person, or the recruiter will pick that person over me? Honestly, the recruiter will pick that person over me, because being very sincere with myself and being candid with myself, I could already see that this person is already doing things that I can't do yet, right? This person is already at that level where I still need to get to. So what that just signaled to me was I was not ready. I was not ready. How do I become ready? Obviously, my courses were not going to get me to that level. I have taken the course. Do I go back, start watching more tutorial videos? I asked myself all these questions. Please, who can relate to this pain point, right? You go on LinkedIn, you see somebody in your domain posting about a project that they have worked on, right? And you're asking yourself, I don't think I'm here yet. I think I still need to, you don't have a project like that. You can't perform something like that person has, or the problem that person has solved. You're not exposed to it yet. Who can relate to this? And you're asking yourself if you're good enough yet, if you can do the same thing they're doing. Am I the only one that can relate to that? Guys, are we self-analyzing yet? Or we're not? Thank you, Chidera. Okay, so we're self-analyzing. Thank you, Sweeta. So we're asking ourselves these questions. Am I there yet? Can I do this? And it's a good question. It is you trying not to set yourself up for failure and imposter syndrome. And I know what I mean by that. When you apply to a job, before you are job ready, you getting a no or you getting ghosted, it's not because you're not good enough. It's because you're not ready yet. They went with somebody that was ready, somebody that was able to communicate the potential that they have by showing proof of what they had done in the past, right? They had so much to back it up. So when I was at that point and I was struggling with, okay, do I take more courses? I went online, there was so much information. What exactly do I need to focus on? I think I need structure in terms of learning. I think I need somebody to guide how I am learning, right? I don't have that. I'm just taking a course, watching instructional videos from instructors on Udemy or all of the platforms, but I need a better structure, right? A platform where I can apply what I'm learning, where I can really have something I'm working on. And then internship was the only answer. And I reached out to a friend who connected me to where I could intern. And that is why we started Amdari. It is not easy to get a place for internship right now because when you apply, it's either these companies are telling you, oh, we don't have the resources to take an intern right now. We can only take one person and we already have filled that role. So we're not taking. So the opportunity to even intern is not exactly that much, right? So because it's not that much, you're now, asking yourself questions like, where exactly can I gain this experience? Nobody's going to hire me without the experience, and nobody is going to, give me the experience if I do not, or rather, no, there is no way I can get the experience without a job. So Amdari is here to fill that gap, the gap of lack of experience when it comes to transitioning into tech. You're struggling to land a job in data analytics, data science, data engineering, business analysis, project management, cybersecurity, which we've broken down to specializations like SOC, ethical hacking, and GRC. You're struggling to land a job in these career paths in the UK because you do not have experience, and that is the answer. Oh, you don't have a reference letter from a UK recruiter because, again, you've never worked anywhere, especially in the UK. That's why we started Amdari. But I'll get to that real quick. In the meantime, let's talk about why we are here, right? What are we discussing? And one beautiful thing about any and every Amdari session is we are pointing out the problem and we are pointing out the solution as well. We're not just pointing out problems so that we can all, brood over it and, oh, what do we do and all that. That's not the case. We're talking about the problem and we are also ironing out the solution. Now, if you'd love to get a replay of this section, right, in case your network goes off at some point and you don't want to miss any part of what has been said, or you're just joining and you've missed a bit of what we've discussed, I would advise that you also get a replay of this session. So for you to do that, my colleague has been dropping a link for you to fill the attendance form. Kindly fill the attendance form. I'll also be sharing a recruiter's guide, right? How you can land a job in the UK, an ebook on that. So filling the form is the only way we can share the guide to getting a job with you. So please do well to fill the form. Okay, so what are we discussing today? First, we're discussing what UK recruiters really want and how you can go from being posted to being hired. And then we discuss what makes you qualified in the UK. Honestly, this is a brutal honesty session, sincerely, and I'm going to be speaking from a place of experience, not something I read off of a textbook, not something that's, you know how it works, right? When you're being trained and being told how to do things, they are not really telling you the actual steps and other things that really works, right? We're just saying things that are fancy, right? So we're also going to be talking about the Amdari Work Experience Program, how this works and how this helps you land a job, and our special offer for you at the end of the session. But like I said at the start of this session, if you have a friend who is still struggling to land a job in tech, who you took a tech course with, or who you know has taken a tech course, please share the link to this session with them. They will benefit so much from it, all right? Sounds like only for UK. What about? Yeah, I mentioned it at the start of this session too, that this is for people in the UK and outside the UK. Strategies applies to you anywhere in the world, okay? It applies to you anywhere in the world. In fact, Amdari Internship has people across the UK, Nigeria, Canada, even Ghana, right? So it applies to everybody. Trust me, it's a familiar pain point that we're addressing. It's not location bound, right? So you definitely benefit from this. So before we get started, I'd like us to get to know the people behind Amdari. And trust me, they have similar pain points as you. If Femena, for example, relocated to the UK, worked in the warehouse for a couple of years. After working in the warehouse, took tech course, did internship, and was able to land a job as a business intelligence analyst in the same company. He never chased sponsorship jobs. He instead went ahead to deliver value, and the same job sponsored his visa, right? So this is what we keep saying. Sometimes the job is what you need to chase, then deliver value, and you will get that sponsorship that you're chasing. It's all about being strategic. Like I said, there are conventional ways of doing things and there are unconventional ways of doing things. And trust me, this session is going to be about the unconventional because at the end of the day, these are strategies that has worked personally for me, right? So I'd really love to share that. Now, Efemena has worked across the data ecosystem. He has worked with organizations in the UK, US, and Canada. He's currently based in Canada. He has helped over 8,000 plus professionals in the UK, or rather 2,500 plus in the UK transition into tech. And I'm not talking helping them gain experience. No, I'm talking helping them land a job, right? Helping them land a job. And he has wealth of experience working across financial services, logistics and supply chain, health tech, edutech, FMCG, entertainment, and medical technology. And we have Adeza Suleiman, similar experience, relocated to the UK, bringing value to the table, working in tech, having experience in tech, helped him land his first job in the UK. He has been able to also help more people with familiar pain points, familiar, journey, transition seamlessly into tech by helping them gain experience and also gain the skill. Let's start with the skill, right? Helping them gain skill and also experience, and ultimately helping quite a number of them land jobs. He has experience working as a tech expert across the UK and also the US. He has worked as a data science consultant. He has worked as a data analyst, business performance at Sahara Group. He has also worked as a data analytics consultant with FITC. Currently resides in Alberta, Canada. And then there is me, Omowumi Victoria Sampson. I work as the CTB that's Chief Technology and Business Officer at Amdari. And I'm also one of the co-founders at Amdari. I have lots of experience working across the film tech, ed tech, and also marketing. And I am very, very passionate about anything human capital development when it comes to helping more people transition into tech. Like I said, I have a familiar story, so I understand what the journey is like transitioning into tech and gaining experience or landing your first job. And I'll show us how I did it. Again, I am a very unconventional person. I really love the unconventional approach, and let's see how that works out. So, getting straight into the session of the day, let's play the recruiter for a few seconds. I love to say, let's put ourselves in the shoes of the recruiter. It is always easy to be on the other side. I am applying to jobs and I'm applying to jobs. You don't know what's going on in the mind of the recruiter. You don't know what they want. You don't know what they expect. Now, imagine you've got 200 CVs on your desk and you only have 1 day to shortlist. What's the first thing you're going to look out for? Just type it in the chat, please. What's the first thing you're going to look out for? I have my eyes glued to the chat, and there is a reason why I'm going to just proceed to the next slide the minute I see the first message, right? So we don't take too much time. But I would really like us to indulge me as the session is going. I'd really like us to interact. Thank you so much, Sammy. Fastest finger, guys. If there was a gift, Sammy would have just popped my gift today. All right, thank you so much, Chidera. Work experience. I love that. I am actually looking out for more. These are like the surface level ones. There are deeper, and we'll get into that. So for Sammy would look out for skill sets. Chidera would look out for experience. Tekena would look out for experience. Now, you need to understand that their primary focus is on hiring somebody quickly and efficiently, right? And they need to be sure that you are qualified for the open position. So if they are hiring quickly and they need to be very efficient at the same time, that means they are working with speed and they are working with accuracy. I can't get this wrong. Now, in the case that relates to you, they want to be sure that you are a perfect fit. Thank you so much, Pasio and Chinedu. Related experience. I love that. I love that so much. So now they are hiring quickly, right? And they need to be sure that you are that person. Now, why do you think recruiters hire people aside filling vacant roles? Now, we've all agreed that what they want is work experience, right? What they want is for you to know how to use it too. But I said something after I got the message from Sammy here, when Sammy said they want you to have skill sets, which is the truth. Without the skills, you can't get the job. But I said there is something deeper. Now, everything we've listed is related to why you think that they will give you the job. Now, aside filling that open position, what do you think they need again? Because this is what makes you stand out. This is the aspect that makes you stand out. And moving forward, right, I would love you to bear this in mind when applying to jobs. Nobody has responded to this question, right? What do you think they are looking for aside filling a vacant position? If it's about filling a vacant position, we have a lot of people with Chidera. What can I give you? What can I give you? Can I give you a discount? Don't worry, we're going to get there. So thank you so much, Chidera. Thank you so much, Basil, for that response. They need a problem solver. Now, from Steve Jobs' mouth, not mine now, right? Steve Jobs said something. He said, it doesn't make sense to hire smart people and tell them what to do. We hire smart people so they can tell us what to do. A problem solver will do that. That was why I said Chidera just was the first to respond to that particular question, and he just hit it on the head. You need to be bringing something spectacular to the table. And if you don't communicate this during your interview, you will not get the job. Not because you're not capable, but because you were not able to communicate that. And how will the recruiter know that you are this person if you don't show them? There is something I've been seeing of late on LinkedIn. And honestly, it's just like the universe speaking to me more and more, right? And that is regarding you talking, because if you do not talk, how will people know that you are capable of this? Nobody's going to sing your praise for you. Nobody's going to toot your horn on your behalf. Nobody's going to know how awesome, how capable, and how great you are if you don't tell the story from your perspective. Now they're able to like, oh, okay, if there is something spectacular about your career trajectory, if you don't talk about it, nobody will know. I saw a post today about a lady who said she got a fully sponsored master's degree in the not the UK, in Canada, and she said nobody knew about it, and it was such a big deal. And she just mentioned it to her boss briefly just last week. I saw the post today, and her boss was like, if you don't talk about this, nobody's going to know how awesome you are. Nobody's going to, toot your horn on your behalf. You have to say these things out there, right? So it's the same thing when you're going for an interview. If you are that person, but you don't know how to communicate being that person, the recruiter will not know. And they might move on to the person that can communicate, hi, I'm a problem solver. So when recruiters hire you, please, I want you to know that they are hiring you because they want you to be that smart person that tells them what to do. And from an interview, you have to be confident. You have to own the space, right? By so doing, you're beginning to exude someone that has a mind of their own, someone that thinks out of the box, or someone that takes initiative, right? That's how you can communicate being this person that I just mentioned, hiring a smart person so they can tell you what to do. And how can you tie it to this role? Tell them about a time that you did that. But we're going to get to that. It's step by step, right? So thank you so much for everyone just joining. Like I said, feel free to share this with more and more of your friends, because we're not just going to be pointing out the problem. We're going to be pointing out how you can even strategically solve this problem. Now, when a recruiter asks you what you are looking for in your next job, what they are actually asking you is how you're going to describe the job they are interviewing you for. They want to hear you describing the job they are interviewing you for. So in the context of this job, somebody said something like that, right? Yes, I'll get to that, Tope. I have everything here. I will get to that. Don't worry. Just stay with me, okay? Stay with me. So somebody mentioned something while I was speaking, and that was Chinedu. He said something, related experience. When I said, what do you think recruiters want? Related experience is very true. Now, this is that part that talks about related experience. You're applying to a job. They are asking you a question. They want to know how that's how everything you're going to say is going to tie to this job they are hiring you for. That was why I said what I said earlier. Every job you're applying to, even if it's a data scientist role for company A and company B, bear in mind that both companies have unique problems. Why? Because they're solving different problems for their target audience. So if that is the case, the data set you'll be working for company A will be different from the data set you're working for company B. If it's a project management role, the projects that you will be working on for company A is going to be different from the projects you'll be working for, or rather on, for company B. So how do you ensure that every interview you're going in for, you are prepared? Make sure you're speaking to that. People just want to be able to, recruiters in this case, want to be able to understand how you bring that value to the table as it relates to their company. So you're communicating the scope of your knowledge, where you've worked before, what you've done before. How does it apply to us here? I want to picture, I want to already start imagining how you're bringing value to the table, right? They're already slotting themselves into your story. But if they can't find themselves in your story and another person comes in, interviews for the same role, and is able to slot them into his story, he will get the job. And I always say something: you're applying to a job, but please, please, and please, don't go in to impress the recruiter alone. You're in the job market with a lot of people with different skill sets, right? You need to bear in mind that you can succeed in impressing the recruiter. But you know that that doesn't stop another person from impressing the recruiter. And the opinion of the recruiter doesn't change about you. They still like you, they are still impressed. Or maybe this person ticks other boxes, right? Maybe this other person ticks every other box that you didn't tick. Oh, yes, you're still impressed there. You achieved that, right? But how about outperforming the other person? How about being that person that has an edge? So that edge is what we are talking about today. We're going to get to that part. Now, before you apply to a job, before you even start, you need to understand the different stages of interviews, right? You see an open position. Oh, hi, yes, I apply, right? Once you apply, which is the second stage, you get screened. They go through your CV. They like you. You're shortlisted. You're invited for an interview. You aced it. They shortlist you for the next stage of the interview. You go in again. They like you. You ace it. You get the job offer. The second stage of the interview might be a mix of both the interview and technical assessment, right? You ace it, they give you the job offer. But you need to understand something. For every stage here, you can see this is the most important. For every stage here, they are looking for something very, very key. What they are looking for here when you apply and they screen you is different from what they are looking for when they interview you the first time, and what they are looking for the second time is different from what they interviewed you for the first time, right? And then when you get the job, there is also a different expectation. But let's talk about starting from this, from applying. What are they looking for? I will really, really like you to take note of all of this, because they are not just mere things that were just listed, right? Now, I have interviewed quite a number of, I think this year alone, I have been in interviews for over 100 candidates, because we're always hiring at Amdari, right? We're a very big team. So we're always hiring. I have been in an interview room with over 100 right now, hiring for cybersecurity roles, project management roles, data roles, and everything like that. And I can tell you for a fact from experience that the key things that we look out for when interacting with any candidates across any field is different. And the people you meet on the panel is a blend of different competence level, different skill level, and experience level, from the HR to the subject area experts, right? That's as it relates to your domain. Then to the senior management, right? These are people that also would. So that's why you need to understand that every interview, every stage has its unique requirements. Now, when you apply and you're being screened, whether your CV is being screened by a human, by a human or the ATS, right? You need to understand that at this point, your CV, what they want to see is a CV that is clear, tailored to that job, and achievement based. Now, it is very important for your CV to be tailored to that role that you are applying to. Very important. Now, you need to understand that you need to also highlight achievements, metrics. I was able to do this. I was able to move something from this percentage to that percentage. I was able, for the negative one, I was able to reduce, the churn rate from this percentage to that. I was able to increase the revenue from this to that by doing this, by applying that, you can also highlight other things like tools that you used, right? All of this, let it show in the course of your application, that's on your CV. You also need to make sure that your CV reflects relevant keywords. I'm sure these are common knowledge. These are things that we are familiar with. But I just need us to, we would get deeper, right? I just need us to understand different levels and what's expected, right? They also want to see proof of impact. If you do not have proof of impact, there is no way you are convincing them to shortlist you for an interview. Have you worked before as this? And what were you able to achieve in that role, right? What were you able? That's proof of impact. And who did you do it for? Which company? That's experience. Some companies will post a job vacancy and you won't see we need somebody with 5 years experience. No, they'll say we need somebody with experience doing X, Y, Z. That's them telling you that we need someone with experience. It cannot be 1 year experience, it can be 2 years experience, it can be few months experience, but we need you to have experience doing this. So have you worked somewhere as this person and were you able to achieve this? So where did you do it? How did you apply it? What was the result of that application? That has to reflect on your CV. If it's not reflecting, they will move on. I have seen people apply to roles and their CV will only have something that doesn't even relate to what we are looking for. Mind you, I'm not talking as basic as not having the role. No, they would have the role, but it's either them just listing the projects they worked on, maybe during their course or something. It's not detailed, it's not robust. It's easy to make a decision to move on. Honestly, we just check the CV, we move on, right? We're not wasting time trying to meet somebody that we can already tell that does not have much to talk about when we shortlist them. So we are looking for some key things. So we're not looking for somebody to waste the time, we're looking for certain things. So if your CV is void of those certain things, they will move on. So how do you make sure that your CV is not void of those things, right? So they need to move on. Now, they also, so once you're shortlisted at this level, the next thing is interview. The first interview. Now, during the first interview, what the recruiters want to see. And on this panel, you most likely will just meet the HR, the subject area expert, and probably someone in the leadership team, maybe just someone. So typically you would have 3 people or 2 people, but most importantly, HR will be there. Subject area experts will be there, right? The other person cannot be someone from the leadership team, or somebody that just has good judgment and is also like maybe the departmental head. Yes, let me use that. Maybe the departmental head of that role that you're applying to. Now, what they want to see is for you to be able to walk them through your CV confidently. What do I mean by this? You know that thing that they say about sending your CV to somebody that helps you revamp it, all these experts that revamp your CV. One thing is, most times their CV will get you an interview. But if you don't have the experience, how do you talk at length? How do you defend that CV? Now, I was speaking to somebody last week, and this person said something. My CVs get me an interview, but I never ace the interview. I always flop. And another person said, my CV gets me interviews, but somehow when I go for interviews, I feel they can tell that I didn't do the work on my CV. And I was like, yes, they can tell. Like, it is always very easy to tell when the CV is just a revamp, not an actual experience, not an actual work that person did. And why is that? Because the people you're going to the people who are going to interview you are not fools, right? They've been doing this for quite some time. So they can tell and they have their expectation. So you need to be prepared 100%. So if whatever your CV says about you and your skill is not something you actually did, I would advise you to make sure that you acquire that skill set. And that's one thing that is very special about Amdari's internship. I always say this to everybody that joins our career clarity session, just like you're on this call. Amdari equips you with the skill sets, the competence, like it's in you first before we make it reflect on your CV. So whatever experience is on your CV that is landing you an interview is something you can speak at length to. Whatever business you've impacted that is reflecting on your CV is something you actually did and that you can really, really speak to. So now we have impacted you with so much that you can speak to confidently. So your CV will represent the scope of the actual knowledge that you have, right? So if that CV gets you an interview, you're as good as acing that interview already. So the second stage, like I said, is the interview stage. You need to make sure that you're able to walk them through everything that your CV says about you, right? You need to be able to communicate, being a problem solver. That's why I said thank you so much to Chidera, that told us earlier that what they are looking for is a problem solver, someone that takes initiative, someone that is driven, right? Someone that communicates well, a good team player, right? These are little things that you feel you're just, and you can't have anything to say about being a problem solver in an interview if you don't work in a team. Now, I always say something. To say that I'm a problem solver without saying I'm a problem solver is only possible if I have worked in a team and I have gained experience. Every other person will say, I am a problem solver, I am passionate, I am driven. There are ways you can say that without saying it verbatim, right? We'll get to that. These are ways you can ace interview. If you say I'm a problem solver and someone that actually gives us a breakdown, a story of how they solved a problem, that person will get the job compared to somebody that says I'm a problem solver. Like I said, we'll get to that. They also want to see how you align with the role. Again, somebody said it earlier, right, about how the job you're applying to relates with or to that role that you are applying to. Very importantly, right? Very, very importantly, you need to always make sure that you research the company. Don't be vague in your preparation. Be in depth, right? Be detailed. Do your research about them. What's the company about? What problem do they solve? So that when you're selling yourself, you can tailor your approach to how it relates to their company, right? So because at this point they just want to know, can this person actually do the job? And the easiest way to convince them is when you're able to put them in the picture of your narrative. That's the best way. And they also want to see how you culturally fit into their system. Somebody mentioned that also. How can you collaborate? If you've never worked in a team before, you will not have an instance. And please bear in mind that going for an interview, everything you're saying, I'm a good collaborator. No, you have to say all these with instances, not saying the words verbatim, right? So the other stage is the technical assessment stage. Now you've aced the interview. They like you. They've seen the behavioral side of you. You're a problem solver. You take initiative. I would explain how you can tell that story of being a problem solver. You take initiative. They can see all of that. Now, they want to see more. How do you solve a problem, right? Are you sound technically? They want to see that. Then they give you an assessment test. This is the part where you practically demonstrate your skills. If you're a data scientist, if you're a project manager, if you're a business analyst, they want to see how you think. So they want practicality now. So they give you an assessment test. They want to see how your thinking is. Is it structured, right? How do you approach problem solving? They want to see you bring it to life. You said it. They like what they've heard. Now, let's see it. Prove to us that you can really do it. Attention to detail and how you also meet deadline. Because they will give you deadline. Oh, you have 2 days, you have 3 days, you have 4 days, right? And they want to also know that you can explain your solution in business terms, not just technical jargon. Because trust me, by the time you carry out that assessment test, your next stage is the interview stage, if you ace that assessment. So the next stage is the second stage of the interview. This is where you get to meet with the panel, the leadership panel rather. Now, HR will still be here. Your subject area expert will still be here. The department head would also most likely be here. But you need to bear in mind that there will be more people now, the leadership team. That's where probably the co-founder is, or the CEO is, or the founder, right? They want to see this person that has aced all of the stages. Now it's getting serious. So what do they want to see here? They want to see how you strategically think. Remember what I said earlier, that assessment test, you most likely will defend it here. Also, we loved your submission. So here you said, can you explain the process? Can you explain the thought process? Can you explain why? Now they've tailored it to themselves. That assessment test was not just testing your technical skills, it's testing your technical skills as it relates to the job you're coming to do for them, right? And how you're going to be able to communicate that problem that you just preferred solution to, again, as it relates to them. They just want to be convinced that in the context of their company, you will be a right choice for them, right? So they want to see how you take ownership and initiative. They want to see, and they would ask you questions outside of the assessment, by the way, right? So I would get to that part where you can ace these questions better. Now, when you get hired, there are still expectations. Every stage has different level of expectation. Like I said earlier, every stage has different levels of expectation, right? So the other stage is the stage where you talk about when you get the job, right? Now you've gotten the job. They want to know if you're able to deliver results early. So they are already looking at you the first few days or months. So your first month to your third month. That's why there is always something like probation, right? That's why there is always something like probation. So first 3 months, They want to know how you perform. They want you to show that you can. They want you to show that you can adapt to the role and the team culture. They also want to know that you don't wait to be spoon fed. Now, this is why a lot of companies would hire someone with experience because they want you to come into the company and hit the ground running. If you're coming into any company as someone who just took a course and you've never worked anywhere, let's say somehow you get the job, you will not be able to convince them properly here. That's why companies go for people with experience. Now, you only have about 30 to 90 days to show them results. Probation period. Companies will always have probation period, meaning you're one leg in, one leg out, right? If you're coming in as an intern, that's not enough time to prove anything. You're honestly learning on the job. Mistakes would happen. They don't want that. So they would go for somebody that has made those mistakes elsewhere and is just coming as an expert. Remember what I said from Steve Jobs' mouth, right? They hire smart people, so these smart people can tell them what to do. If I'm hiring Camille, for example, today to work in my company as a cybersecurity professional, I am a software developer. I am not a cybersecurity expert. If I'm hiring Camille, I want Camille to come in as the expert. I don't know anything about cybersecurity. So if Camille is coming in as, oh, I've not worked anywhere before, I'm trying to figure how I can't help Camille because I don't know the job either. So I would want to go with somebody that knows the job, that will be the person that shows me how to, get things done as it relates to that role, right? So you see what they say. There's also a very famous founder that said something. I hire experts to run my company. I am the founder, but I don't know how to do everything. So I do what? My hiring process is what helps my company grow. So I hire people that can do the job. It's just like having a tailoring company. So we have quite a number of interns at Amdari that have approached it the same way. This is Francis. He aced all stages of his interview courtesy Amdari Work Experience Program. You can see right here on his LinkedIn, it says Project Management Consultant. He worked as Amdari as an intern. We do not refer to the interns at Amdari as interns. When we revamp your CV, it doesn't say intern. When we optimize your LinkedIn, it doesn't say intern. It says consultant. Now, this is a project management consultant. He started his internship at Amdari in March this year. He got a job in July. Now you can see the message. My intern landed a project management job at Deloitte. This message came in from his team lead. You can see his team lead's name is Brown Amdari. Brown is one of our project management leads at Amdari. These are the people you work with. Now he sent a message to Brown, and this is the message. For the Igbos in-house, you know that one name means brother. Sorry, for the non-Igbos, one name means brother. Okay, so he sent this to his team lead. Brother, I just got a call from Deloitte that the interview was successful. Starting onboarding in August. We all know that this is August, right? Starting onboarding in August. To God be the glory. Good morning, sir. And his team lead, Brown, says, brother, this has made my week. Congratulations. And then Mr. Francis says, now you do pass up Amdari of Mr. Brown. He did what? He aced this interview just by virtue of having proof and being prepared. Because we always have interview prep sessions with our interns. Now, how to become the candidate that recruiters say yes to? The same way that Francis got a yes. Bear in mind that you need proof, you need presence, and you need professionalism. Right? Now, for proof, what do you need to show? You need to show projects, you need to show metrics, and you need to show results. For presence, what do you show? You need to show communication. You need to show confidence. You need to show taking initiative, right? For professionalism, you need to show that you are reliability. You need to show that you're culturally fit, and you need to show growth mindset. Somebody mentioned growth mindset while I was speaking, and that is Basil. When I was asking earlier about what you need to show, growth mindset, very important, right? So all of these stages, let's break it down a little bit. Before you even apply for a job at all, you need to be prepared. So you need to polish your foundation. Building your CV, which we talked about, having a portfolio, which is proof, right? You can't have a proof if you've not worked anywhere. And please, proof is not just projects. Proof is projects done for a business with showing results that carries metrics. Proof is projects done for a business showing results that has metrics and how you use the tools, the technicalities to solve that problem. Your proof has to be that. Proof is not, I worked on a project on cargo. That's not enough. That was why I said something earlier. You heard how I said it. I didn't say it's not good. I said it's not enough. And you heard what I said earlier. Applying to a job with the mindset to impress the recruiter alone is a wrong approach. Another person, I can be in an interview. Jennifer can impress the recruiter. Dorcas can impress the recruiter. Abigail can impress the recruiter. Even Chidera can impress the recruiter. All of you can impress the recruiter, but one person will get the job. And that's the person with an edge, right? So let's say Basil has worked on projects on, let's say, cargo. Abigail has worked on projects on maybe a capstone project when she took her course. But Jennifer has not just worked on a random project. She worked on a project with business context, right? It has a business in the picture. There was a business challenge. There was an aim for the project. There was a deadline. There was a team. There was a team interaction. Jennifer will have more to say in that interview than Abigail or Basil, right? Because now this is the edge. Now, oh yes, they liked Abigail. She has a very nice interpersonal relationship. She's outspoken, she's confident, but so is Jennifer. But then Jennifer has more, right? Business context, backing her project. That's why Jennifer will get the job. Abigail will wonder why she got ghosted. Abigail, you will not be ghosted in Jesus' name. Right? I'm just using it as an instance. Okay. That's why we would wonder that, okay, why? It's because somebody else had an edge. How do you make yourself have that? How do you make yourself that person that has an edge? That's why I always say something. You've gone to the extent of investing your time in paying for a course. You've even invested your time to be here today. You've done so much. Why not finish strong? Right? You invested your time, money to take a course, to be in tech. You didn't get the job. You even went ahead to see Amdari's post about this and you said, let me join this. Maybe this will solve the problem. Now I'm giving you the solution to the problem. If you don't have that opportunity to have a project that has proof, Amdari is giving you that today, right? We'll get to that and how you can get started. Okay. So you're able to show that the rule is do not apply to jobs until your personal brand reflects the role you are aiming for. I honestly, I didn't know that was a rule when I did it. That was why I said something. My approach can be unconventional, but you realize that it's a common sense rule, right? I never applied to a job until I went for an internship. I promise you, because I was self-analyzing. I would see people on LinkedIn posting about this, posting about that, and I could tell that I am not that person yet. And the reason why I'm mentioning LinkedIn, the reason why I'm mentioning being ready first before you apply, we will get there. I have proof. I have receipts. Okay, so please do not, but I know people have already started applying and we're getting no's. This is your why, this is your reason for getting no's. So now this is your cue today to pause on the application. If there is anything you should apply for or enroll for, it's an internship, right? I always say something. The best time to start is yesterday. This year is like 4 months to close for 2025. So if there was a goal you set, if gaining experience or landing a job in tech is one of it, you see why starting yesterday is the best. So we'll get there, right? Like I said, this session is not just pointing out the problem, but showing us how we can solve the problem, right? Now, the second point is for you to be able to show that you are job ready, not just qualified. That get hired. Be prepared before you apply. That's one. Secondly, show you are job ready before you apply. Right? Not just like you are qualified. Yes, you have a certificate, you are qualified, but are you job ready? This statement is not just a statement. Again, tying it back to my story. Remember what I said. I saw that these people were posting about certain things. If I apply to a job with these persons, I won't get the job because they are more ready than I am. I could tell that I'm not, and it's not because I am not good enough. It's just, and if I apply, my ego will be bruised. I will start having imposter syndrome. Is it that I'm not good enough? Is it that I don't know it? Of course, I don't know it because I'm not as prepared as they are. They've worked on more things than I have done. So I was not job ready. Then I applied for internship, right? So you need to do internships. That's how you bridge the gap, the experience gap. So the first one is you need to polish your foundation. The second one, for you to show that you're job ready, you need to bridge the experience gap. Do internships, work on projects, volunteer for works that replicate real tasks. Remember what I said earlier. Having projects is not enough. Does it have business context? Right? Get familiar with tools in your domain, especially the industry relevant ones as it relates to the current time, right? Then simulate real team-based workflow. Let's not stress it. That's why internship is here. You don't need to simulate it. Amdari internship, for example, allows you work in a team. You saw how I showed you that person that got a PM job and he was speaking to his team lead. His team lead will not be a team lead if he's not leading a team, right? So recruiters love candidates who can say, I have done this before. Here is the proof. And how are you showing proof? You're telling them a story. And the third way to be that candidate that gets the job is to communicate your impact. Communication is your secret weapon. Now, sharpen your interview presence. Honestly, the difference between the person that gets the job and the person that doesn't get the job is confidence and communication. Remember what I said earlier, pitching your value. If you don't know how to pitch yourself, how to pitch the value you bring to the table, you will not get the job. Imagine saying, I'm a problem solver, and another person using the STAR approach to explain it. You can only use the STAR approach when you have an actual situation, right? Situation, task, action, results. Now, a random project will not give you, and when you're telling all these stories, people will be in the picture. So the situation was, there was this problem that you guys needed to, there was this situation and there was this problem in the company that you guys needed to. Remember, I just said you guys, meaning you will have to mention some people, right? So let's say as a project manager now, I want to give that instance. I'll say, oh, there was a time that there was this event that we were planning. And the reason for planning that event was because we wanted to create awareness about the brand. We were going to launch an app. And the people we are going to launch an app for need to be aware of the problem that we are about to solve. Now, the problem is a familiar problem to them. Whether they know it or we have to spell it out before they're like, oh yeah, that's true, right? Whether we have to say it or not, because there are times that you need to spell out. There was one thing that WhatsApp did where it allows you to send a message to yourself. I promise you, I had already created a junk and stuff folder for myself before WhatsApp came up with that update. I still don't use their update to date on that end because I had created junk and stuff folder. And that's the part where I just drop things that relates to me, right? Oh, I don't want to forget this, I don't want to forget that. And then I pinned my junk and stuff folder. So WhatsApp came with that update, but I already identified that problem. If I was a project manager or product manager at WhatsApp, I would have brought up that initiative earlier. Now look at me talking about this now. As an instance, this is a real life story. I can't go into an interview and share this bit like this, and an interviewer would not, because that's initiative, right? And I'm not even tying it to a job this time. I'm just tying it to my own day-to-day. How do you pitch yourself? I know how to sell myself. It's in a conversation, I'll just be putting it in, and I'm already pitching myself. And that confidence, that, you being outspoken and everything, they will just be looking at you like, So that communication being a weapon is not just a phrase. It's actually a weapon. And honestly, with WhatsApp, me pointing out that is just trying to tie this to the project management story that I was saying, right? So you don't tell them, oh, so there was this time that we're working on this project and all of that. So there was no way that we would launch without having an audience being ready. Again, this one I'm saying is from a personal experience, right? So we said, you know what? Let's create an event. It was actually for the film industry, right? So I said, you know what? Let's create this event. Actors will be in attendance. Casting directors, filmmakers, they will be in attendance. What do actors need the most? Headshot. Headshot is expensive. What do they need the most? Their show reel that introduces them to any, oh, let's give them that for free. Let's have them at the event. There will be free drinks, there will be free this, but we had over how many signups in a day? Over 1,000 signups. No ads, nothing. That initiative, purely me. How many people attended that event? Live and direct. We had over 800 actors in attendance. Remember, I said over 100 people Over 1,000 people applied to attend in one day, right? Imagine running that. And the campaign was just for 1 week because it was last minute. I was just like, why don't we try this? Now, doing that, we had to set up a landing page for people to register. I worked with product designer and the web developer. I was the project manager on that, right? I was the project lead. So I worked with so you can see me talking about this. What was the task? We had to develop a landing page. We had to get people to sign up. What was the action? We got people signing up. We had to send out invites to them and all of that. What was the result? We had over how many people in attendance? And they all signed up for, when the app is out and everything like that. They followed the page. The page grew organically. That's the social media page grew organically just because of one particular initiative to create awareness, but not running ads or, oh, come on, not doing all of that, but starting an event. And again, like I said, real life story, it was something I did. And this was just 2 years ago, right? This was just 2 years ago. So that's one of the things that we also need to bear in mind as it relates to showing impact when you go in for an interview. There's no way I would go in for an interview saying things like this and I would not get a yes from that person. Now, how Audacity helps you win recruiters over. Remember I said communication is your weapon. Audacity has to be in the picture. Now, let's see how that works for me. But before we get into that, I saw this online and I really liked this statement. I have a theory that life meets you at your level of audacity. Audacity is asking for what you want instead of hoping someone offers it to you. I applied this in terms of applying for a job, and I will show us that with screenshots, right? Audacity is texting first without overanalyzing and applying for a job you feel underqualified for. Are you prepared for it? Please apply. You don't need 2 years experience to apply for it. You don't need it. Underqualified might be you thinking, "Boy, I just started my internship 3 months ago." I kid you not. Our interns get jobs. I showed you Francis just now. Our interns get jobs just 2 months, 3 months into the program. I am not kidding. You saw the timestamp on Francis on the date stamp, right? He started his internship at Amdari in March, got a job in July, started the job this August, right? Audacity is pivoting your life at 40, 30, or even 50 because you decided that you deserve better. Again, majority of the people on this call are career switchers, right? We are career switchers, meaning we're most likely in our 30s, or in our 40s, or maybe we're even in our 50s. And we feel like, you know what, I want to try something else. I want to try something different from what I've been doing with the last, 10 years of my life. Let me try my hands on tech. And you're here today. Audacity, the more audacity you have, the more you will be rewarded. Now, let's see how Audacity played a role in my case, right? In my case, I was always posting. First off, I spoke at an event. Secondly, and I had social proof. Now, how did this happen? All of this was during my internship. Why did I do this? I saw something during my internship. Something happened. I was one thing that comes with internship is the fact that you get to meet people. That starts to become your network of tech professionals, right? That begins to be your network of tech professionals. Now, because that's your, sorry about that, just a minute, just give me a minute. So sorry about that, please. So yes, as I was saying, right? So one of the things that Audacity, the role that Audacity played in the picture for me was essentially the internship. Now, what happened in the course of my internship? I went ahead, right, and met more people. They told me something. Oh, there is this person that you should follow. There is this tech professional that you should, all of those things you guys just discussing. There is this tech person that you should know, that you should be aware of, and everything like that. And as a result of that, I got to start knowing more people, and I'll follow them. And that was where I spotted my first ever employer, right? I saw his post. I really liked what he was posting about. I felt I would like to work with people like this, right? I'd really like to work with people like this. What do I do? Let me send him a DM. Let me shoot my shot. But before shooting my shot, let me look at my page. Do I look like somebody that this person would respond to? I don't think so. There is no proof of what I can do, what I have done. Honestly, this was just purely common sense for me. Nobody in my internship told me I had to do it like that. I just knew that my page said nothing about what I was doing. My page said nothing, absolutely nothing about what I was doing and who I was. So I said, okay, let me try this, right? Let me update my page. And then I started posting. I was posting my code right here. This post that you see here was posted in 2019. Now, in the course of my internship, my boss said something. There's a tech event coming, that's Google Developers Group. You should speak at the event. And I was like, okay, I don't think I can. I am new in the space. This is even going to be my first ever tech event. I don't think. And it was like, you can't do it or you won't do it. And that statement made sense kind of. And I said, not that I can't do it, but I'm not sure I am ready. Like, I've never been to a tech event and all of that. And he was like, think about it. And thank God I thought about it and said yes to that opportunity. That opportunity ended up being one of the receipts I had, and I was able to post. This was just 4 months into my internship, right? I was living in northern Nigeria at that time. This was one of the people that attended the event and had a couple of things to say about, oh, she delivered a great talk on ethical hacking without signs of a first timer and all of that, right? Now, Audacity again was now me shooting my shot 2 weeks after I posted all of that. Look at my message to the person. I just decided to send you a DM because I find your post inspiring and I really look forward to probably working with you. That's the founder that I wanted to work with. Now, why did I reach out to the founder? I knew that if I send a message to their social media, it's the social media manager that would see it. He probably or she probably would not respond to me or might not even be aware that there is an opening, right? I knew that I needed to send a message to the founder. So you can see this message. Work with me. That would be nice. Audacity again, right? Remember that I had gone ahead to post a lot because I knew I was going to do this. So my page was already showing him somebody that had it figured out. Again, if I had just sent him a message with the way my previous page was, I wouldn't have gotten a response. I promise you. So I know the caliber of the person I was about to DM. This was 2019. Look at the timestamp here. Look at the timestamp here. Now, he says, work with me. That would be nice. That's if you don't mind. And then I say, I am a web developer. I go ahead and, right. But like I said, my page already says a lot, right? Even my bio says a lot. So you could already tell. So I just completed, okay, yes, I'm a web developer. I just completed Google Digital Marketing Skills for Africa and I was awarded a certificate. And I was very sincere with everything I was saying. I'm currently trying to apply all I have learned from the course by building an e-commerce website for my sister's business and applying the SEO and SEM strategies to make her business get in front of prospects. I was showing that, I know what I'm saying. I am still a student though, final year computer science. Yes, I was still a student. And I am currently working on an app. It's my first mobile app development. So the chat is kind of a very lengthy one. So that's why I'm only just able to stop here. So I could show you where I got the job, right? So I then told him about my internship because like I said, I was interning at that point. And then I sent him link to my GitHub. I sent him link to my project, the landing pages, all of these websites that I said I was working on. Then he sent me a message on June. This was the next day. Everything was less than 24 hours because this was like night time. So this was the next day. He says, hi, I have already sold myself. Oh, the ball is in his court now. And I was like, okay, at this point, let me leave everything else to God. Then he says, hi. And then I say, hi, sir. Sorry. I say, hi, sir. How's work? He says, how are you? Are you interested in the, just for privacy purpose, the work? I said, I'm fine. I am interested 100%. Drop your number here. I got the job in less than 24 hours of just reaching out to this person. But remember that everything happened earlier than that. I was already strategically posting, right? And I got the job. I worked with him and my relocation was sponsored just 7 months after the job, right? My relocation was sponsored just 7 months after working with him. You see what happens when you work and deliver value. You don't need to chase sponsorship sometimes. That was why I said something, right? You don't need to chase sponsorship sometimes. Just get the job first. Show them that if it's not you on this job, in fact, they can't afford to lose you, right? When you show them that side of you, they will keep you. Now, how building in public played a role in me landing my first tech job. Okay, I didn't edit this. This is like subsequently. You can see this is 2021. So obviously this is not my first. That was, so I didn't edit this part. So pardon the oversight. Now this person sent me a message on LinkedIn, right? Is the chief technology. And funny enough, he's still working there. Because just it was yesterday I searched for the name. I was like, God, I hope, because I needed to show this proof, right? I was like, I hope I don't forget this person's name. Let me check my DM. I had to scroll because we had a couple of people bearing his first name. So, but thankfully, I just saw it. So he still works there, funny enough, but he's been promoted. You can see the message. Hello, Victoria. My name is, I lead the technology team at XYZ. We are currently looking to hire a product manager, and your profile caught my interest. Is this something you would be interested in? If yes, I would look forward to having a conversation with you. If not, perhaps I could get great recommendations. Now, if you look at my response, thank you for reaching out. This is definitely something I am interested in. I was contacted and see his reason. Your profile caught my attention. This is LinkedIn. And you can see my name right here, Omon Victoria Samson. This is another person, 2021, the same year. We are looking for a professional. She says, hi, we are looking for a professional, highly motivated, detail-oriented web project manager. This one is product manager. This one is web project manager. Pretty much similar, right? Who is passionate about helping companies grow their business and brand online and understand the importance of teamwork to join our team. Then she goes ahead to share some little detail about their company here. And I say, hi, thank you for reaching out. Can you tell me more about the role and the salary? There's a reason why I left the salary part. It's on purpose. Do you know why? Because most times when we're talking like this, people will tell you, oh, don't include salary, don't start with salary and all of that. I got this job, guys. That was why I said unconventional. I don't want to cut this part out and tell you guys and sugarcoat things for you. So it doesn't look like I am also a perfect applicant or I was a perfect applicant. I requested for what the salary range would be. Because yes, it's normal for some jobs to have the listing and have the salary there, even though some people, so it's just a case of, oh, this person will tell you this, that person will tell you this. At the end of the day, just bring value to the table and you get the job. So I got this job. Look at the date. This one was sent to me in January 2021, January 16th, but this one was July, the same year, pretty much 6 months after, because I landed this job. They gave me the job in February, right? I resumed in February. I got the job that same January. I resumed in February. That's just 6 months. There was no way I would leave the job to take their own. So I was interested, but I was like, I'm still new here. Even though, sincerely, this was my dream job. I kid you not. But I was still very new here and it didn't make sense. So we just spoke on the call and I told them, I actually jumped on the call with these guys. Now, why am I showing you this? I would have just come here today and just say everything like, oh, there was a time, oh, I've been contacted. But I just honestly remembered yesterday that let me get the screenshots. I hope I remember their names. So, and that was, and you can see the person that reached out to me here, HR administrator, legal officer, and this screenshot was just yesterday. This other one also was yesterday. And I was contacted on LinkedIn. Audacity helps you get the job. Building in public also helps you get the job. Now, what makes you qualified in the UK job market or even outside the UK job market? Personal portfolio that showcases what you do, right? Building in public, you just saw those people that reached out to me. Just last month again, another person reached out, like, sorry, I'm not looking, right? I'm not looking for a job, right? But it was through LinkedIn again. So building in public will help you. People are watching. You need to have soft skill as well that shows that you can actually work independently and your ability to tie your role to business value. We cannot overemphasize this. You need to know how to tie your role to business value. So would you say that you are qualified? Please in the chat, based on everything that we've said so far, would you say that you are qualified? Sincerely now, right? Sincerely, based on all of the requirements that we know that recruiters want to see, I would like to know, Do you think so? If you think you're qualified type one, if you think you're not qualified type two, right? If you think that based on everything that we put, thank you so much, Derek. Thank you so much, Sammy. Picking two, you know, but trust me, like I said, identifying the problem, it's good to be self-aware. It's good to admit that yes, I think I am not ready and I need to be ready. So don't let me say that I don't want to use qualified. Do you think that you're ready? So we are picking two. Thank you very much. Thank you, Linda, Steven, Sneha. Thank you so much. You can keep it coming, guys. And like I said earlier, thank you, Chimezi and Abigail. Please fill the form that my colleague is dropping if you'd love to get the recording of this session. It might also be because you want to share with one of your friends to watch it because they were not able to join us today, right? And also to get the slides to this presentation. Thank you, Hilary. So yes, it's good that we've all identified and agreed that, okay, I think I am not job ready. I really need to be job ready. Now, recruiters are not gatekeepers. See, whenever we have someone to hire, I will just be like, I hope we don't have to interview the entire job market before we find our person. I hope this first set of guys will just be the people because it is draining. I promise you, it's exhausting. So it's not like the recruiter wants to interview everybody before they find the right fit. No. If I interview Hillary today and Hillary is the person, I don't need to meet more people. If I interview Abigail today and Abigail is the person, I don't need to meet more people. What am I looking for again? She has just proven beyond reasonable doubt that she is the man for the job, right? I don't need, trust me, there are still areas of grace, like, oh yeah, here and there, but honestly, she aces so many parts. We're moving on with Abigail, right? So there is no reason to say that, oh, I am looking for this. They are solving a problem for the company, which is to find the right fit that would help move the company forward. So if you don't look like the right fit that would move the company forward, they will not take you. And how do you show them that you are the right fit that would move the company forward? Making sure that you sell yourself in a way that shows that you have impacted businesses before, right? You've given value when you've worked before, you've done so much, right? So if you show them that you solve problems, not just that you need a job, you get it. Most times we go in like, oh, please, I need a job. I've been searching. You're not saying it like that, but honestly, how you sell yourself sometimes might be showing that, please, I need a job. But no, it's a win-win. You win, the company wins. You're coming in to bring value, to do something. They are not doing you a favor. You both are doing yourselves a favor. You're bringing something to the table, and then they're giving you something in return, right? So I am the person you need. You pitch yourself with that level of confidence, you get the job, right? But if you sell yourself like, oh, sorry, I need a job, please, would you hire me? Thank you, Oguchi. They will not take you. So how do you demonstrate competence? With your story, how to say I am qualified without saying I am qualified, right? Now let's get to that. I said something in it. We're wrapping up soon, guys, so that I can take your questions. Thank you, Nathaniel. So the weak way to sell yourself would be, I'm a problem solver. I like to take on challenges and find solutions. You can say it like that. But then another person will come in and say, in my last project, our data pipeline kept breaking because of duplicated entries from multiple sources. Instead of just cleaning manually every week, I designed an automated process in Python. You just explained taking initiative. You just explained identifying a problem. You just explained taking initiative and the tool you use. I designed an automated process in Python that flagged duplicates and reconciled them before they entered the main database. This reduced error by 60%, metrics, results, right? And saved the team about 6 hours of manual work weekly, right? It also meant our reports were always accurate and on time. What I enjoyed most was seeing how that small change improved decision-making for the business team. You also had the best interest of the company at heart. You didn't wait for anybody to tell you what to do, right? You're an independent thinker. You have a mind. Please, who would you pick? This is person A. Honestly, sincerely, just type A in the bracket if you pick this person, and B in the chat rather if you pick this person. This is B, the convincing way, and this is A, the weak way that anybody would say. So would you go with B or would you go with A? Thank you, Sammy. So if you cannot sell yourself like this, You will not convince. There is no way I'll be interviewing anybody and you are telling me this, and I will not be like, okay, this is our guy, right? So you need to understand how to sell yourself. Thank you very much, everyone that has been, so why this works is concrete situation, specific action, automated process in Python, tangible results, 60% error reduction, 6 hours saved weekly. Can you see? Business value, better decision making. Shows problem solving without ever using the word, I am a problem solver, right? You didn't say I'm a problem solver. You just used strategy to do that. If you've never sold yourself in an interview like that, please start doing that today, right? And more of this is what you even get in the Amdari Work Experience Internship, which I'll get to. This is another person that got a job as a result of the Work Experience Internship at Amdari because she had stories like this to tell. Now, you can check her up on LinkedIn. Her name is Betty Opedadi. She started her internship with us at Amdari in January. Look at it here. January 2025. And she got a job with Eclis IT Limited in UK in May 2025. Can you see? Now, the job title of her internship is Information Technology Project Manager, right? And she got a job as Information Technology Business and Project Manager in the UK. Our solution, or rather our structure of internship at Amdari is working. It's helping people get a job, right? That's one of the things that really gladdens my heart, right? So there is another way to show that you take initiative without saying you take initiative. I always take initiative. I don't wait to be told what to do. Anybody can say that, right? Anybody can say that. But look at a convincing way to say you take initiative. During my internship, I noticed our stand-up meetings were dragging on and we often left without clear priorities. I created a simple shared board on Trello where each team member updated their top 3 tasks before the meeting. This cut meeting time by almost half, and by the second week, the team lead adopted it as a standard practice. It helped us focus on deliverables and improve our weekly output. Now, this might be perfect for a project manager, but trust me, it applies to everybody, right? It applies to everybody in the sense that taking initiative sometimes is not limited to your field. And you're also showing collaboration. If you talk about this, it only shows that you take initiative working with a team, right? It shows that you've worked with a cross-functional team, right? Shows that you've worked in a cross-functional team, shows that you've also impacted, you've worked in a team and interacted with other people across other teams, right? So that's what this shows essentially. So that's why I showed us that first one for technical purpose and then this one for soft skill purpose, right? Why this works, identified a gap, meetings being unproductive, took initiative, you created Trello board without being asked to do so. Outcome, shorter meetings, better output. Recruiters hear initiative without candidates saying that. You don't have to say, I take initiative. I can, that's what I hear. But now I hear it with more, right? I hear it with more. You communicated something with more. So how does this approach help me thrive in the job market? You might ask, right? See how this has helped our interns. Like I said, they have been landing jobs. At the start of this session, my colleague played some testimonial videos for us. So I won't bore you with all that. I know some people joined late. Trust me, we have a lot of testimonials, even on our YouTube page, right? You can see this person sent a message to the employability specialist at Amdari. She says, good morning, Amina. With the way you revamped my CV, I got a job offer of £50,000 yesterday. Although I am turning down the offer because it's a 6-hour drive from London, right? This is another person. Hi, Miriam. My name is Larry from Amdari. I just got a secondment role as a business analyst in data analytics team. I would be writing user stories for extraction of data from EDW. This person is requesting for on-the-job support. She says, I need help understanding architecture. Our interns get jobs in the course of the internship and they can still get on-the-job support. Our CV revamp helps you land a job. Remember what I said at the start of this session. We are equipping you with something you can defend. There is no way you work on an actual business problem and then we update your CV with it and you won't have something to say. There is no way we will prep you for interviews during mock interview prep session, during interview sessions and everything like that, and you will not be prepared, right? All right, Titi Lope, we will share it with you. Just ensure that you fill the form that my colleague is dropping, same as Damilola and Linda. All right, so Larry got the job, right? Then this person says, hi, Mohammed. I just got a data science job, like my first data science job, using some of the things we've learned here. Can you see? The internship is really helping and it's helping people get jobs. This is another person. She says, hi, Efemena. Efemena is one of the co-founders at Amdari. And she goes, I interviewed with 3 companies and was made offers by all 3 companies, right? And then there is another person. Okay, yeah, we'll get to that. All right. So I said this earlier. You might be wondering, where do I get started? Right? Where do I get started? What do I do? What do I have to do? It's simple. You've taken a course. At the start of this session, I asked us a question. If you have taken a course and you're trying to get a job in a field, type the field. So let's say you've taken the first step. This is your applause, right? This is your applause. So you've taken the course, you are already in tech, but you are still struggling to get a job. What do you have to do? You need to join the internship that collapses the learning curve. Switching up how you learn and where you learn it is very important. All right. Now, learning by watching tutorial videos every now and then might not really help you, right? It might not really help you. The best thing that would help you is working in a team, working collaboratively, working with people that will help you keep growing and keep moving forward, right? So when you switch things up, you learn by doing, which is internship. Now, this internship gives you a safe space to make mistakes. It's a controlled environment. It's what you get at Amdari. You get to work with real tools, real collaborations, real team, right? Real deliverables, and all of this will really, really help you to keep acing your interview and doing better. Now, you also get 4 months of internship, which you can also choose to extend, right? With job reference letter. You know that thing that recruiters tell you, oh, you need to come with work experience. Oh, we need reference letter from a UK recruiter. Oh, we need this. Amdari is registered in the UK, registered in Canada. We are based in Canada, but we also have an office space in the UK. We have an address, and that is everything that we can give you and put on your CV. And when they request for reference, right? So the new way of gaining real world experience is internship. Like Amdari, open source contribution projects, right? You can see them online also. Volunteering for non-profits, freelancing on Upwork, Fiverr, and the likes. Hackathon and competition, right? We're launching the first one in a couple of months' time at Amdari. Case study simulations, building and documenting your own projects. Amdari has a free portfolio website where you can do all of this, right? So, moving on now. How do you get started with Amdari? We will get to that. But before then, you need to understand that recruiters are hiring based on experience. And this report shows us that. You can see from here that at least recruiters need 3 years experience. They get to hire like 8%. From here, people that get hired because of 2 years experience is about 20%. 36% 1 year experience. 23% 6 months experience. 7% 3 months experience and the likes, right? I got my own job 4 months into my internship. I didn't have 1 year experience when I got my first job. 7 months in, that job sponsored me, right? 7 months in, that job sponsored me. Now, somebody question earlier, I think that was Titi, right? Was it Titi or I'm trying to remember who asked me. And you said, what are the jobs that recruiters are currently hiring for in Canada? Trust me, even in the UK, in demand jobs right now, according to the World Economics Forum, is data engineering, data analytics and data science, cybersecurity. This report is as of 2025, this year. And you can see that this projection is from 2025 up until 2030, right? HR analytics role are also in demand, business analytics role also, right? And we also have, okay, it's a repetition of what I have. I didn't realize I had that twice. Now, if you join the Amdari Work Experience Internship program, what are the tools that you will be working with? You'll be working with tools like Excel, SQL, Tableau, Power BI, not limited to them, right? The experience needed by what we've seen on the job board is majorly centered around technology experience, data visualization, reporting, data modeling, data cleaning and transformation, and all of this as it relates to business context. This is what you get in the course of your internship at Amdari. For data science, you'll be working with tools like SQL, Tableau, AWS, Azure, GCP, Python, to mention a few. And on some projects, you can work as a machine learning engineer. On another project, you can be a forecasting analyst. On another project, you can work as a computer vision engineer. What am I saying? In the course of your 4 months internship at Amdari, you will work on nothing less than 5 to 6 projects. Remember I said earlier, you can choose to extend your internship. You can choose to extend it, right? But for 4 months internship, you will work on 5 to 6 projects. Now, interning as a data engineer, you work on Python, Docker Studio, GitHub, GCP, PySpark, Azure, just to mention a few, as you can see right here. And you'll be working to gain experience in technology expertise, building and deploying data pipelines, database versus data warehousing. Again, business context, because you'll be working on real business challenge in the course of your internship at Amdari. On some projects, you can be an ETL developer. On some projects, you can be AWS cloud engineer or Azure cloud engineer or GCP cloud engineer or data migration specialist, and all of that. For data analytics, you can work as a product analyst on some project, supply chain analyst on some project. Again, you will be working on different industry projects. So if your first project is in pharmaceuticals, your next project can be in real estate. Your other project can be in consulting or construction, logistics and supply chain. It just goes on and on. Now, if you're interning as a business analyst, you'll be working with tools like Excel, SQL, Jira, Draw.io, even Miro, Notion, Power BI, to mention a few. On some projects, you're a business systems analyst. On other projects, operations analyst. Some projects, requirements analyst, and the likes. And the same thing applies to project management. You will be working with tools like Confluence, ClickUp, Notion, Microsoft Projects, Jira, Trello, just to mention a few. On some projects, yes, I'll be taking questions in about 5 minutes, Priscilla. On some projects, you work as an agile. You can keep your hands raised, Priscilla, so I can, because I'll be going like that. Yeah, you can keep your hands raised. Don't worry, your hand will not be sore. All right, so on some projects, you can work as Agile Program Manager, Project Scrum Master, and it just goes on and on. The same thing for cybersecurity. So as a SOC analyst, you get to work with Splunk, you get to work with Nessus, you get to work with Autopsy, you get to work with Nmap, Wireshark, to mention a few, right? And yes, you'd also be working with Azure, AWS, and the likes. And these are the tools that, you can work as a SOC analyst, security engineer, SIEM engineer, just to mention a few. And the same thing with ethical hacking. You'd work with Kali Linux, Wireshark, Burp Suite, Metasploit, to mention a few. And one project can have you working as a white hat hacker, security consultant, exploit developer, penetration tester, vulnerability researcher, to mention a few. And the last but not the least, GRC, governance, risk, and compliance. You'd work with tools like OpenGRC, OpenSCAP, privacy tools, Excel, to just mention a few of them. And you would work on projects as a business analyst, business data, process analyst, functional analyst, operations analyst, and the likes. Okay. That was but yeah. So you'll be able to gain all of this experience that helps you get the job, right? So you get technical skills and employability skills. That employability skills is the part where we revamp your CV, optimize your LinkedIn, and prep you for interviews. This happens every Thursday. That's the interview prep. But let's say you have an interview coming up in 2 weeks' time. You can ask for a one-on-one interview prep. 100% available for you. These are more people that have gotten jobs. Toby has gotten a job as a data scientist in the UK, courtesy Amdari Work Experience. You can see his LinkedIn right here. His internship started with us in April this year, by the way. He kind of backdated. That's why it's 2024. I mentioned that we give reference later, and that's it that you can see on my screen. So this was sent by an employer. It says Olayinka has nominated you to provide an employment reference for their application to Healthcare Island, right? So yes, of course, we gave the reference and she got the job. But this reference was sent after this person was hired. And you can see it says the above named has been offered a position as a systems analyst with our company and has provided your details as referee. You see? So he already got the job. So more and more, all of these are more testimonials about people that have gotten jobs. This was my interview with some of the other people that got jobs in the course of this internship, like Laju, who got a data science job, Lanre, who got a business analyst job, and the like. So what did they do differently? They worked on real projects. They worked in real teams. They had access to tech mentors, right? They learned how to speak workplace language. They got visible on LinkedIn, and they knew what hiring managers really want. This session we had today is just a tip of what this our interns gave every Thursday, because we have mentorship sessions. So we're showing you practically how to get the job. So you've learned. It's time for you to package, right? And then apply to jobs. Like I said, do not apply before you're prepared. Apply after you are prepared, right? You stand a better chance to get the job. Now, the next internship cohort is starting on the 6th of September, and we have a discount available for just 6 people. So I'll show us briefly how to navigate. So my colleague is going to drop the enrollment link in the chat for you, but let me still get the enrollment link regardless. So my colleague is going to drop the enrollment link in the chat, and just use the enrollment link to secure your spot for the cohort starting on the 6th of September. That's pretty much in about 2 weeks time. Now, by the way, I forgot to mention, we have a free portfolio website for you, Amdari website. We have job board where you can apply to jobs as often as you want on a daily basis. We fetch these jobs from Indeed, read.co.uk, Glassdoor, LinkedIn, to just mention a few. And these jobs are across the UK, US, and Canada. So you see what I meant earlier. I'm trying to remember your name, the person that said that. Oh, I think that's Tokwe or it's Toby. So the job board has jobs across different locations. We have a free portfolio website. Instead of you to get a developer or you're creating a portfolio with Canva, you don't need all of that. You have a standard structured portfolio on Amdari, which I will show us. So yes, let me drop it. My colleague is not dropping it yet. So let me just drop the enrollment link. So it is very, very easy for you to enroll. Just a minute. So an enrollment is very easy and straight to the point. I'll show us how that works. So this is the enrollment link in the chat that I just dropped. Now, enrollment is for 4 months internship. Now, it is originally 3 months, but we're giving you 1 extra month. Now, the original fee is £500, but there is a discount. So you get to pay £390, and you can pay it 3 times. So you pay £390 this month. Let's say you enroll today, and you pay £390 next month, and then you pay your last £390 in 2 months' time. So you see, you can spread it across 3 months, right? You spread your payments across 3 months. This discount is only for the next 24 hours. This £390 discount is only for the next 24 hours. So it's going to be closing by tomorrow midnight. So if you'd like to secure your spot, all you have to do is use the link that I just dropped in the chat, right? Again, it is very flexible. You can pay 3 times. You don't have to pay at once. Now, you will be redirected once you click on that link. You'll be redirected to this enrollment center on my page. You would see the different programs: data science, data analytics, data engineering, SOC analysis, business, like all the career paths are here. Agile project management, they are all here. Now, for you to secure your spot, let's say you want to enroll for data analytics, just click on data analytics, right? Once you click on data analytics, you will be redirected to this page that you see right here on my screen, and you can see the price breakdown. If you want to do one-time payments, click this. If you want to pay twice, click this. If you want to pay 3 times, just click on this particular one and click on secure internship. It will show you a breakdown of your payments. That's the structure. So imagine you pay today. Your next payment will be due exactly this day next month, and your last payment will be due exactly this day in October. So you see, you're able to spread your payments across. And this discount, like I said, is only available for the next 24 hours. So once you see this, click on proceed. Once you click on proceed, you'll be redirected to this page. Fill in your name, your email address, and your phone number. and click on proceed. Once you do that, you will be prompted to fill a form. Sorry, your card details, right? So once you fill your card details, you are automatically, your payment is successful and you're automatically redirected to this enrollment center. Now, this enrollment center, sorry, this enrollment form is very important for you to fill because this is how you will get your details for us to sell your internship confirmation letter, your job description, your link to the link to your WhatsApp group for your team, the link to your first meeting with your team lead and your teammates, and link to other resources that would be useful for you in the course of your internship. So all you have to do, like I said, fill the form with your name, email address, country of residence. Are you a career switcher? Are you a recent graduate? Are you unemployed? Whatever the case that applies to you, type in your phone number, click on next. It's very easy, just 3 steps and you're done. This is the second step. What program are you enrolling for? Select it, right? Upload your payment receipts. It's sent to your email, or you can just do a screenshot. Type the name on the account you used in paying. Then proceed to reading the terms and conditions and click yes, you've read it. And then ensure that you fill this particular, select these 4 months. Like I said, you can choose to extend it if you would like to do more than 6 months. When do you intend to start your internship? Is it 6th of September or October 4th? How did you find out about Amdari? Select it here. What influenced your decision to subscribe to Amdari? Select and type it here. And that is all you have to do. So I will take questions right now. I believe, did you say 390 per? No. It's 130 per month. So you're going for 3 months internship, but we're giving you 1 month extra, right? So that's 4 months internship. So the total for that 4 months internship is 390 pounds. Now you can split that 390 pounds into 3 payments. So that's 130 pounds, 130 pounds, 130 pounds. Is that clear? Temitade? Is that clear now? Okay, awesome. So if you'd like to secure your spot, the link has been dropped again in the chat. I have just dropped it. So let me see the question that we have here. How much? Olabimpe, I just mentioned it. It is 390 pounds, and you can break it down to 3 payments for 3 months. So that's 130 pounds this month, 130 pounds next month, 130 pounds in 2 months' time. So you're spreading it across. Will October, I can't guarantee that, Damilola. I can't guarantee that, to be honest. But you can actually enroll now and select for October, and 100% you can start by then, right? So how can one register for the internship? Okay, Chimezie, I just dropped the link. So just click on the link that I've been dropping, and then you can go ahead and secure your spot. All right. So just go, and if anyone has not filled the form that we're dropping, please ensure you fill it so we can send the link, the slides from this session to you. Topai says, so as a project manager, what would be the best pivot you would advise then, since I intend to Japa? If you have experience yet, if you don't have experience yet, rather, Topai, I would advise you gain experience. Amdari gives you that experience and gives you a reference letter that this, UK recruiters would want. They will say, okay, they want a reference from a UK recruiter. They just want to be sure that you are not just exposed, but you are also familiar with the work environment. So yeah, the best pivot approach, honestly, is applying to jobs when you know that you're ready. And the fastest way to do that is to apply to an internship. 4 months, you are super ready. 4 months, you are super ready. Okay, so Chimezi, I just dropped the link to enroll. So I will take questions now from those that have raised their hands. For quick one, Titi Lopez says, can we be in 2 classes in the first month to discover our niche? Titi Lopez, that's very hilarious. No, you can't do that, right? So you can't do that. And I take it that means you've not done any. Have you taken a course in cybersecurity, or you've taken a course, you've just not decided your niche? So you can still decide on your niche by watching a day in the life of a SOC analyst or pen tester and all of that. Which one excites you? Which one resonates with you? I always love to advise people to make career decisions in terms of selecting based on what resonates with you. So because tech can be very, very stressful. So you need to enjoy it for you to even thrive, right? All right. So Titi Lopa, I hope that answers your question. When will discount end? In the next 24 hours, Nathaniel. It's going to end in the next 24 hours. Ola being paid for career switchers who have no experience. What do you advise? Gain the experience. Amdari is the first the best place for you to gain experience. How can one balance current work life with internship? Super valid question, Derek. Thank you so much for that. Now, this internship is very flexible. You're expected to dedicate at least 1 hour of your time per day to working on projects. Each project will take you 2 to 3 weeks to complete. There are projects that will typically take you like 4 days if you're working full time 9 to 5, right? But if you're not working 9 to 5 in this case now, right, we extended the project deadline for you to work on it from like 1 week to, sorry, 2 weeks to 3 weeks, right? And that's what happens. Topper says you didn't list project manager as the tech skills needed in Canada when I asked earlier. That was what I asked. Okay, yeah, so I did actually, but I didn't highlight it on the list for the what's it called now, but it's actually part of it. You can also Google it. I promise you, project. I am a project manager myself, Tokwe. I am a project. You saw what I've shown also for about my career trajectory, right? So trust me, it is in high demand. It is in high demand. Project management is always going to be in demand. So let me take Priscilla before I come back to Sammy in the chat. Hi, Priscilla, because I know your hand has been raised for a while now. So I'll take Priscilla. Please, anyone else with questions, do well to raise your hand and I will take some questions. So at the same time, but for those that have been enrolling, please ensure you fill the enrollment form, right? As you enroll, ensure you fill the enrollment form that I shared. This would help us send your internship confirmation letter, like I mentioned, and also every other detail regarding your internship. Okay, so you can't unmute. Hi Toby, please. I would like you to allow people to unmute. So confirm once you can unmute so she can do that. Okay, can you unmute now, Priscilla? Hi, Priscilla. Okay, she still can't unmute. So Priscilla, please go on. So please, if you have any questions, please proceed to asking your questions in the chat and we will take questions.
Right.
Okay, yes, now unmute yourself.
Okay. My question is this. I Wife was seeking for um what's it called, work experience. I've done business analysis before. I did a capstone project, although not with your sister company, which is Tenalytics. So I just want to know, like, because the way you're really talking, I'm really gingered and all of that. And that was also how I felt with the other company. So I just want to know, like, you guys, is your word really your bond? Like, because you won't understand, like, you won't understand where I'm coming from and how much I've spent. So I wouldn't want a situation where, it's just a situation of register. When you register, then it will now be go and apply. I know that we're supposed to, apply, 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 put in the work. It's not like nobody's going to spoon feed us and all of that. But when you are in a new terrain and all of that, there's this what's that confidence that someone has when um when you are assured that there's somebody holding your hand, regardless of them not exactly spoon feeding you. I just want to know if Dari is really like, I I've had a lot. It's just coming from a place of the past experience and all of that. So I just want to know. I don't know if my question is valid or if it's not. Then
Please.
secondly, I missed something. I was trying to take my medication. Something you mentioned about logistics and supply chain, because I'm currently a student and I'm studying master's by research in logistics and supply chain management. So I'm also in a situation where I'm trying to know how I can marry business analysis and logistics and supply chain. I don't know, when somehow you are falling in love with, like, business analysis, I really like it and all of that. And then I could not get business analysis as a course to master on here because of my first degree. My first degree was in English language and literature. So it really limited my options. So I had to go for logistics and supply chain. So um I'm really confused on how to marry the two? Would you advise? Do I just have to just leave logistics and just go all out into this? And if it's possible, how can one do it? How can one? I want to really know what you mean, because when I heard you say something logistics and supply chain, I was like, I missed that, and I just
Yeah,
want to really want you to come back on that.
thank you very
That's my
much.
question.
Thank you very much for that. So while you were speaking, I was trying to get a particular video from one of the team leads that you'll be working with in the course of this internship. So I'll start from your first question, then I'll go to your second question. This internship is guided 100%. You're not going to have to figure things out yourself. In fact, for every project you're working on, there is mini projects in between. Sorry, there is mini training in between. If there is a tool you've never used before, you will be guided on how to use the tool. The first screenshot I showed us about Francis, who got a project management job, was him working with his team lead, that's Brown. And in the chat, right, you could see one part where he said, what's the word now? Where he said, one name. That's for you to see the relationship, the bond between the team lead and the teammates. And for this question also, I would quickly like to show us something. So, okay, awesome. I see a couple of people have enrolled. So please, as you're enrolling, ensure you fill the assessment form. Like I said, that would make it easy for us to send you the internship confirmation letter and every detail regarding that. So let me quickly come to what I wanted to show you, Priscilla. So just a minute. I'm going to show you everything that would help you understand how this internship is guided. You're not going to be working in isolation. You have proper guidance from your team lead. You have proper guidance from the employability specialist. That was why I also mentioned something. When you're applying, maybe it was also when you said you went to take your drugs. When you're applying to a job, right, and you have an interview coming up in 2 weeks' time, you can send a message to us at Amdari. You have the contact, the WhatsApp of your team lead, the WhatsApp of your employability specialist. They will prep you one-on-one base, right? We have the general interview prep, we have the one-on-one one. So as you're applying to jobs, and that was why I also said that we have a job board on Amdari website. Now, let me show you something real quick. This is it right here, currently coming up. This was sent to Emeka, one of the data analytics team leads. This was sent by his intern. And this intern says, "Hi, Emeka," right? "Just wanted to officially let you know that I have landed a data analyst role within the civil service, and it's a level promotion too. I was asked to prepare a presentation on any data analytics project. I edited and submitted our first project, saved me a lot of time and gave me confidence. Also spoke about the SQL project when they asked about data acquisition. Thank you so much for your mentorship." What this mentorship pretty much means is he was not working alone. He was mentored by his team lead, and that is Emeka, right? Now, I would play a video for us right now. I hope, because I'm not logged into my Instagram. We posted it on our Instagram page at Amdari. So I'm not logged into my Instagram on this page. So I wanted to show, but how many videos can I show you? So that's why I just want to show us just one. So let's hear from.
The audio isn't.
Oh, there's no audio.
It's not working. There's no audio yet.
Did you say there is no volume?
There's no audio, no.
Oh, sorry about that. Let me stop sharing and start sharing. Let me stop sharing. I'll share it again. Thanks for nudging me. So once there is audio, just give me a thumbs up so I can know that. Okay, so I'll reload the page so we can start all over again.
Larry joined the business analysis internship program at Amdari and got a job in less than 4 months. Are you a business analyst or an enthusiast stuck in the job hunt because every role seems to demand 2 to 3 years of experience you don't have? At Amdari, we bridge that gap by giving you hands-on experience through the real-world projects you will work on. You won't just read about business analysis tools and techniques, you will use them to deliver actual business value. During the internship, you will work on projects that involve requirements gathering and elicitation through stakeholder interviews and workshops, process mapping and gap analysis using Lucidchart and Visio, creating user stories and acceptance criteria in Jira and or Azure DevOps, analyzing data for business decision-making using Excel and Power BI, creating business requirement documents, BRDs, or functional requirement document, FRDs, and change request forms, collaborating cross-functionally with developers, testers, and project managers. We will also help you master skills recruiters are actively searching for in 2025. Agile and waterfall methodologies, stakeholder communication and management, translating business needs into technical requirements, using industry standard BA documentation templates, building a portfolio that showcases your deliverable. By the end of this internship, you won't just say you understand business analysis, you will prove it with real project outcomes, tool experience, and a portfolio that makes hiring managers take notice, just like Lanre was noticed and hired. If you're
So yes, so I just wanted you to see one of the team leads that you have as a result of this internship. You are not working in isolation at all at any point in time. The internship is guided. Now your team is going to be you working with one specific team lead dedicated to your team, right? That's how it works. And when you have interviews, like I said, your team lead is not even the person that preps you. They will just be there for the technical side of things. The employability specialist preps you. Your CV revamp is done with you by the employability specialist, right? And every Thursday, we have mentorship session as well as interview prep session. So even when you don't have an interview coming up, you still join these prep sessions because you're prepping ahead of when it eventually comes, right? So you have nothing to worry about. Honestly, that's why I've been showing us proof of those that have even gotten jobs in the course of this internship. But I know your worry is majorly about the guidance, like, oh, hope it's not a case of I'll start and then we have to figure things out ourselves. Then your second question, hope I answered the first one before I move on to the second one. Priscilla.
Yes, you did.
Okay. Then to answer your second question, which is around logistics and supply chain, yes, I was referring to that as one of the industries that you'll be working in. So there will be projects under logistics and supply chain. There'll be projects under FMCG. There'll be projects under real estate, different industries. So that was what I was mentioning. So yes, you being able to marry business analysis with an industry like logistics and supply chain is definitely achievable with this internship. So does that also answer your second question?
Yes, it does very well. Thank you.
All right, awesome. So would you be joining us, Priscilla, for September cohort?
Yes, I will.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
Look forward to
I will.
having you. Okay, so more
Thank
people
you.
have enrolled. Amazing. Welcome on board, Samiat. So welcome on board. Sorry, I can't count every name, but I can't call out every name, but welcome on board, guys. So please, if you're enrolling, ensure that you fill the enrollment form. You can see that I can tell the people that have filled the form right now as we're on the call. And like I said, the discount is going to be closing in the next 24 hours. So please take advantage. The best time to start actually is yesterday, right? So I'll take more questions. But in case you have more questions and I don't take it, you can book a clarity call session with me for Monday, 1 p.m. My colleague will be taking for 8 p.m. So I'm always available Mondays through Fridays to have clarity related conversations, which my colleague will drop. But for those that are out, but trust me, I'm going to take as much questions on this call today as possible. So so we'll move on to the next